And Shakur Stevenson is a new Floyd Mayweather of this era.
He is.
Why do you say that?
Because he ain't taking many chances, ain't giving guys no chance to beat him. But now the difference in him is he fighting everybody. He not ducking and dodging. You know what I'm saying? He fighting everybody. That's a bit different. So he could be Floyd Mayweather for us not being beat in this era, but he's a little different for which he wouldn't take on a big shot. But he also getting the right money for early in his career.
Roy Jones Jr. says Shakur Stevenson is the Floyd Mayweather of this era. Fights smart, takes no risks, and has the style to give Devin Haney serious problems.
Best Philly shell since Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
His fucking defense was incredible.
Yeah. Defense, and he stayed. And that guy was putting the guy from Golden Boy, I can't remember his name, who he fought, but was just a good fighter and was really pressuring him. And Shakur stayed in the pocket.
Yeah.
He stayed in the pocket.
He also said he's not going to fight
him a runner
that way
before.
anymore.
He's not a runner, yeah.
But he said after that fight, I'm not going to fight that way anymore. He said I took too many shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he wanted to like put on a show and show everybody he's not just a runner. He could stand in the pocket. But then he's like, why am I doing this? I'll box the shit out of these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, he's a silver medalist, that guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's elite. He's elite.
Yeah.
And just one of the best, like, it's as far as skill.
Even Joe Rogan also says Shakur Stevenson has the best defense in boxing since Floyd Mayweather, pointing to his elite reflexes, distance control, and ability to avoid clean shots.
Feet is too good.
Yeah.
My feet is too good for any fighter to just be able to lunge in and not pay for what they're doing.
That is exactly what Shakur means when he talks about his movement. He is saying his footwork is too sharp for someone like Devin Haney to just rush in for free.
Hey, for now, bro. For now. Hey, for now.
And this is where it gets a little spicy, with Devin Haney claiming he is the #1 guy, and Shakur basically saying, cool, keep that spot for now, because he plans to take it when they finally cross paths.
But Shakur is a different fighter. You know, Shakur is different. You know, people may call him boring. People may say he can't punch. But they say the same thing about Floyd. Because they defensive fighters.
Yeah.
Even Terrence Crawford makes it clear he sees Shakur as a different level of fighter, someone often judged for being too safe, but that comes with elite defense, and it is also why he leans towards Shakur if he faces Devin Haney.
Young, talented, brilliant talent, brilliant defensive fighter, brilliant guy at control and range, Olympic silver medalist, quick hands, technically solid.
Teddy Atlas is basically saying Shakur is the full package, a smart, technically clean fighter who controls distance so well that he makes opponents fight his pace.
He puts together punches and bunches, he's offensive-minded, he's attack-minded, but Shakur is the fastest fighter to reach 4 world championships in 4 weight classes in a shortest amount of time, so to speak. So
Paulie Malignaggi is painting Shakur as more than just a defensive guy, someone who can actually step on the gas and put combinations together when he wants. He is saying Shakur is naturally attack-minded and knows how to control the moment offensively, not just survive. He also points to how fast Shakur has moved through divisions and titles, which shows how quickly he has been operating at the world level. For Devin Haney, that means he is not just facing a slick mover. He is facing a complete fighter who can switch gears and win rounds in different ways.
Like you said, youngest to ever do it, Olympian, medalist, but also beat a very dangerous top-tier peer.
Owned him.
12-zip, controlled him the whole time, had nothing for him. It just shows his level. It's kind of like the pro box TV mentality. Yep. You know, the way that it's like, oh, we set you up in 50-50 fights, and then one guy soars above. You're like, all right, well, you're at a different level. Not that Tio and Shakur was supposed to be a 50-50 fight, but it was supposed to be damn closer than 12-zip.
Yes.
You know, and then when you excel like that, you're just entering a new stratosphere. And I think Shakur has done that with this win last weekend.
Chris Algieri is saying Shakur is not just talented on paper, he proves it when the level goes up. He points to Shakur dominating a dangerous, high-level opponent so clearly that it did not even look competitive, and to him, that kind of performance is what separates a good fighter from a truly elite one. It is like those matchups that are expected to be close, but one guy makes it look easy, and suddenly you realize he is operating on another level. And if Shakur is reaching that stage now, a Devin Haney fight becomes even more intense, because Haney would be dealing with someone who can control the entire fight from start to finish.
Shakur has some of the best feet in the game, and people don't understand that. What makes it so hard is that his foot game is so on point that he can make you miss this much, because now, used to be he would jump way back. Now he's not doing that anymore. Now he's just stepping back just enough to make you miss so he can get what he wants after you miss. That makes him highly dangerous. And to see him improve on that and come bring it to the forefront in the biggest fight of his career.
Roy Jones Jr. is saying Shakur's footwork is one of the biggest reasons he is so hard to touch, even when it does not look flashy. He explains that Shakur does not have to jump way out anymore. He now takes tiny steps back, just enough to make punches miss. That small movement keeps Shakur close, so the moment you miss, he is right there to take control and do his work. Jones also points out that Shakur showing this improvement in a big moment is what makes him even more dangerous now. For Devin Haney, that means rushing in or trying to close the distance carelessly could turn into Shakur making him miss by inches and then winning the exchange right after.
That's a tough fight. I like both of those styles together, but I do think that Shakur is just more defensively aware, sound and aware. It's possible that Shakur may win that fight. I feel like he's a problem for a lot of guys because of his style. But Devin and both of those styles together, that's a great matchup, and I don't know. That's actually a really good fight. I genuinely don't know.
Roose Carrington is basically saying this matchup is tricky because both guys bring styles that can cancel each other out. He leans slightly towards Shakur because he thinks Shakur is more defensively aware and harder to catch clean. At the same time, he does not dismiss Haney at all because Haney is disciplined and can fight a smart, controlled fight too. What he likes is the style clash because it feels like a real chess match, not a messy brawl. And even though he sees reasons Shakur could edge it, he is honest that it is close enough that he cannot confidently call it.
You know, he's he gets credit for being a good defensive fighter, but he's more than that. He's a master at distance and range, meaning that I'm in range to hit you, but you're not in range to hit me. And people don't understand that for a fighter, that's terrifying. They think that they only reference a fighter being scared when they're facing another puncher. But when you miss a punch, or you try to hit a fighter and you've been working for 8-12 weeks to do that and you can't hit him, but then he hits you, that's terrifying and it's demoralizing and it's discouraging.
Andre Ward is saying Shakur should not be labeled as only a defensive fighter because the real weapon is how he controls distance. He can stay close enough to hit you while keeping you just out of range to touch him back, and that messes with a fighter mentally. Ward's point is that it is not just hard, it is draining because you train for weeks to land your best shots and then nothing lands. Meanwhile, Shakur is still tagging you, which turns the whole fight into frustration. Against Devin Haney, that same range control could be the difference because small inches decide who wins rounds.
Throughout the amateurs and as a pro, so I think that's the markings of a great fighter, an all-time great fighter. And when you can do those kind of things consistently over an extended period of time, that's greatness, not just a one-off. Everybody can have a good night, but when you can do that like that over a period of time and have a body of work like he has, that's an all-time great fighter.
Ward also says Shakur's greatness is not based on one impressive night. It is the consistency across years in amateurs and as a pro. He is basically judging Shakur by body of work, how often he shows the same high level without slipping. That is what Ward calls the mark of an all-time great, doing it again and again, not once in a while. In the Haney matchup, that matters because it suggests Shakur is less likely to have an off night under pressure. It frames the fight as Haney having to beat a style that shows up reliably every time. And if Haney cannot force Shakur out of that comfort zone early, the fight could start slipping away round by round. Ward's message is that the real challenge is not just talent, it is solving a puzzle that stays sharp for 12 rounds.
I think that they should fight when it is the biggest fight in boxing, because it shouldn't be one. That should be the biggest fight in boxing. But I do believe that them probably the two most talented fighters in boxing. Like them two. So and they both dedicated and all of that, so they not gonna fall off. Like they're not gonna let the streets get them or nothing like that. So I think that when it's at the point where it's the #1 biggest fighters when they should fight.
Mickey Bay is saying Shakur versus Devin Haney should happen when it is truly the biggest fight in boxing. In his eyes, they are two of the most talented fighters in the sport, so the matchup will only grow if both keep winning. He also trusts their discipline, like neither guy is going to derail his career with bad choices outside the ring. So his point is patience. Let them build it into a massive moment, then pull the trigger when the whole sport is watching. That is when the fight carries the most weight and the most legacy. He is basically treating it like a when, not if fight. And he is saying the timing should match the talent, not just the schedule.
That should be the fight, whenever, if he decides to ever come up to 47, then at that point, it should be the biggest fight in boxing. Like Floyd Pacquiao, but earlier, not wait that long,
Get them in their prime so they could do it 2 or 3 times.
They keep doing what they doing, record-breaking fight. Like, both of them to me, them, two, you could see it. Like, them dudes is both different. So that's the one right there. They let that bubble in. That could be definitely one of the biggest fights in history.
Bay also pushes the idea that if Haney ever moves up, that is when the fight can explode into something even bigger. But he does not want it dragged out forever. He wants it while both are still in their prime, so it can happen more than once. He is basically saying, do it early enough to run it back 2 or 3 times if it is as good as people think. In his mind, their styles and talent are special enough to break records and feel like an event, not just another title fight. And he frames it like one of those rivalries that could go down as historic if boxing handles it right. He is saying fans do not just want the fight once, they want a real series. And the earlier it happens, the more time there is to build a whole era around it.
Shakur gonna beat him. Devin don't really want that.
Will it be that dominant though, like the way it was with Tio?
Nah, it wouldn't be that dominant.
No, it'll be a lot closer.
I don't know if it'll be a lot closer, but I mean, when I say a lot closer, like I don't know, Devin wouldn't get picked apart like how Tio did. Yeah. Shakur will probably still pull out an obvious decision, but I don't think Devin will get picked apart the way Tio did.
Richardson Hitchens is basically picking Shakur to beat Devin Haney, and he even hints that Haney is not in a rush to take that fight. He does not think it would be a one-sided beatdown though, more like a competitive fight where Shakur stays in control. In his view, Haney would not get broken down the way Teofimo did to some opponents, because Haney is too skilled and too disciplined for that, but he still sees Shakur doing enough to make the result clear on the scorecards. So the prediction is a Shakur win by an obvious decision, even if the rounds feel tighter than people expect.
I mean, he's an elite fighter. He's so f***ing good, but he needs like a big, high-profile fight, like Gervonta did.
Joe Rogan's point is that Shakur is one of those fighters who is elite, but still does not get treated like a true superstar by the casual crowd. He is saying the skill level is obvious if you actually watch him closely. The reason the hype is not as loud is that Shakur's style is cleaner and controlled than wild and highlight-heavy. But Rogan is basically arguing that the talent is so high, his name should already be everywhere. In a Devin Haney matchup, that matters because it frames Shakur as the quiet problem at the top of the division, the kind of guy you do not fully appreciate until you are in there with him, and that makes the fight more dangerous for Haney than it may look from the outside. Because sometimes the least flashy fighter is the hardest one to beat.
He's focused. He's stay in the gym. He's a gym rat. He loves boxing to the core. Like, yeah, that's a dangerous man right now because he got something on his mind that he wanna accomplish.
And he's still very young.
Yeah.
Very young and still getting better with every fight.
Terrence Crawford is saying Shakur is most dangerous when his talent matches his mindset, because that is when he becomes hard to shake. He is basically describing Shakur as locked in, focused, and living in the gym, like boxing is the only thing on his mind. Crawford's point is that this is not just a skilled guy, it is a disciplined guy who actually loves the work. When a fighter like that has a clear goal, they fight with extra purpose and patience. In a Devin Haney matchup, that matters because Haney would not be facing a distracted Shakur, but a fully switched-on Shakur, the kind of version that does not give you easy rounds or easy moments. And if Shakur is chasing something specific, he is going to stay sharp for all 12 rounds, not just in bursts. Crawford is basically warning that this version of Shakur is the type that forces you to fight perfectly, because any small mistake turns into a lost round.
I feel like Shakur can be that face of American boxing that, we've always had. We have Floyd Mayweather. I think he can be as popular as Floyd Mayweather, if not more popular than Floyd Mayweather.
Tim Bradley is basically saying Shakur has the talent to become the face of American boxing again. He compares the ceiling to Floyd Mayweather and even suggests Shakur could reach that level of popularity. The idea is that the sport has been missing that clear American star, and Shakur can fill that role. Bradley is not talking about hype, he is talking about long-term star power. A Devin Haney fight fits that picture because it is the type of matchup that can turn a top guy into the top star. And if Shakur wins a fight like that, the face of boxing talk stops being a debate.
When I had a brief conversation with Shakur, one of the things that he told me was that he was going to be a superstar in the game. He told me straight to my face, it don't matter what you say or what you think, like, I'm going to be a superstar in the game. And for me, just looking in, I was like, okay, for you to be a superstar in the game, you got to show up and show the hell out, man. Because it was, when we had the conversation with him, was after a lackluster performance. And then I think it was like right before he fought Herring, I had a conversation with him. And that's when he told me. And at first, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at first because I'm like, bro, like if you continue to give these type of dog performances, no one's gonna want to see you, you know. So the truth of the matter is that, you know, I was wrong and he was right. You know, say what you want to say about Shakur, his style and what he does and this and that. Like, people still want to see him fight because there's something behind the brilliance, just like whether you want to see him lose or whether want to see him win. It don't matter. But it's something behind the brilliance of his boxing style. And I don't want to say brilliance behind his, but I just want to say his defense. You know, the brilliance behind his defense.
Bradley also shares a moment where Shakur told him directly he was going to be a superstar. At first, Bradley did not fully buy it because Shakur had some performances that did not excite the crowd. But he admits he was wrong because people still tune in when Shakur fights. Bradley's point is that even if some fans complain about the style, there is something special behind it that keeps attention. A Devin Haney matchup would test that superstar claim in the biggest way because the whole sport would be locked in. And that is exactly the kind of stage where Shakur can prove he belongs at the very top.
I wouldn't say it's, you know, he's charismatic or, you know, he's, you know, I mean, he's not a bad speaker on a mic, but, you know, he's not Ali, he's not, you know, he doesn't require that type of attention like that. You know, he's smooth and he's gaining more and more confidence on the mic and he's getting better at it, but, you know, he's not gonna have to do it with his mouth. He's literally doing and becoming a superstar with his skill and by beating the guys that you feel that he can't beat. So with that being said, man, I'm impressed with Shakur, man. I'm very impressed with Shakur.
Bradley's third point is that Shakur is not becoming a star because of talking or charisma. He is saying Shakur does not need to sell the fight with his mouth like an Ali-type figure. Instead, Shakur is building his name with skill by beating the kinds of opponents people think he cannot beat. Bradley respects that because it is harder to do and it feels more real. Against Devin Haney, that same idea applies. If Shakur beats a proven name, the superstar conversation gets louder without him saying much at all, and it would make people look at Haney as the next big name Shakur had to go through.
I think I'm the best fighter in the sport. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. And it ain't no diss at, like, it ain't no diss at the guys that's in the sport, you know. There's a lot of guys that I think is really good and they do some things probably better than me maybe, but truthfully, like, with the tools and the IQ and the brain that I have, I think I'm just on a whole different level. Like, these guys is not on my level. So that's how I feel about myself, man. Ain't nobody gonna change that.
Shakur is basically putting a line in the sand here and saying he sees himself as the top fighter in the sport right now. He is not trying to disrespect anyone, but he is making it clear he believes his skill set and boxing IQ separate him from everybody else. The main message is confidence, like he genuinely thinks most fighters cannot deal with his brain and his tools in the ring. That kind of mindset is also him setting the tone for the biggest names around him, including Devin Haney. Because if Shakur truly believes they are not on his level, then a Haney fight is not something he sees as 50-50. And he is basically telling everyone that no matter what gets said online or in interviews, his belief is not changing. All these voices from top fighters and analysts point to the same thing. Shakur is not just respected, he is seen as a real problem at the highest level of boxing. From his defense and footwork to his mindset and discipline, many believe he has the tools to control fights against anyone, including Devin Haney. At the same time, Haney is proven, composed, and experienced in big moments, which is why this matchup keeps getting framed as a true chess match rather than a one-sided fight. The tension around it comes from two elite fighters who rely on skill, not chaos. What do you think? Is Shakur's defensive style enough to neutralize Haney over 12 rounds? Or can Haney's composure and ring control turn it into his type of fight? Does Haney have the tools to pressure without getting picked apart? Or will Shakur's movement slowly take over the scorecards? And if they do fight, does the winner become the clear face of the division? Or does the rivalry demand a rematch? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.